Okay, so this is part 7 of a conversation we started a couple of weeks ago. Um, you know, I titled it Rescripting. Okay, if you are joining us for the very first time, try as much as you can to just go back, find time to listen to what is leading to what we are talking about today, because this is not the first part. All right. So this is the 7th part of the same conversation. So we're taking a detour, moving around certain other subtopics, but we are still addressing the same thing. So last week, I spoke about the power of believing, where I took a lot of time to explain what it means to establish the concept of truth. The amazing thing was I was in a program yesterday in the city of Oxford, Mississippi, United States here. And, apparently the man of God was just preaching on his own. And he went straight to talk about the characteristic of truth. And I was just smiling while I sat down that this was exactly what I was talking to people about just 6 days ago. That was one of my points he did not agree to. And of course, he was not preaching in response to me. He did not know anything about what I'm doing there. So he was talking about, last week I spoke to you that truth is consistent, it is coherent, it is absolute, and all of those other uh, characteristic I gave. But the man yesterday was saying that he did not say truth lacks the characteristic of coherence, but he was saying not all that are coherent are truth, which is very correct. So the idea is that error can be coherent when it is intelligently crafted, but truth cannot be incoherent. So the fundamental things remain that what we discussed last week remain as they were described. However, that something is coherent does not mean it is the truth. So you have to capture everything I spoke about before you can establish, the body of knowledge and agree that it is either true or not true. All right. Now, having said that, tonight I just want to add to what we've been talking about. And I want to speak about how to silence the spirit of weariness. And I'd like you to pay attention very clearly to what I'm about to talk about tonight. Again, I will try as much as I can to be very brief this time around. Take one or two questions. It's been an eventful weekend for me too. I have to quickly find a way to rest and catch up with another meeting at 6. Okay. So, um, silencing the spirit of weariness. I want you to know that it is not everybody suffering today that really did not try. For instance, people who are of age, it's easy for us. Perhaps you consider yourself a young person, that being young is a relative term. It matters who is defining that, and that is a different conversation. But you see, let's just assume that you have time on your side and you are considered a young man in your place of, operation. It's easy for you to see a 70-year-old person. Maybe the life of that individual is not really making a lot of sense to you. It's easy for us to conclude that, oh, this man missed it. He really did not try when his age mates were really trying. Those are the things, even when we don't vocalize them, those are the things that go on in our head sometimes. But can I say this to you, that not everybody who has ended up a failure failed to make attempts. A lot of people learned what they ought to learn at the time they were supposed to pay that attention. And for whatever reason, it appears that fortune probably does not smile at them. But that's not the issue. That is not the issue. And why I want you to pay attention is because if you are young today and you are not yet largely successful, you really don't have two lives to experiment. So all those things you say concerning people who are of age today will be said concerning you in a matter of years away from now. And if you are not yet largely successful, what is the guarantee you are going to be successful tomorrow? Are you seeing that? What is the assurance that what you are doing today will not even your best ever? Will not be your best ever? No, what's the assurance? Or you want to just wing it that I just, I just, I just hope I'm not going to end up probably the way other people, you know, have ended or are ending, as the case may be. Especially when you've gone through some of the conversations we've had, what I'm supplying tonight is the only thing that will make all those other previous conversations to make meaning in your life. And the fact remains, until you are able to silence the spirit of weariness, you cannot fulfill destiny. Oh, you can't. It is not the fault of man that we naturally love pleasure. All of us, we just like to do something comfortable, something convenient, something sometimes interesting. But I make bold to tell you that a lot of what your destiny require to actually speak, they are not going to come to you as pleasurable things. Let me cite this funny example. I I registered, not registered because I didn't pay. It came with my rental package. We have a gym where I live, and I go there to exercise my body and all of that. So recently, I reached out to one of my guys in Nigeria who is into fitness. That is what he does. His name is Kudius. He's one of my boys there. Um, you know, and he began to tell me if I want to build this, if I want to build that. And I said, really, I'm not trying to build anything. I just want to be fit. Yeah, maybe add flesh in certain area and make sure certain things are well compacted together. So I gave the description of what I was expecting. So we started out on this time around on routine exercise, which was different from the freestyle I was doing. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. Because some of you, you are learning, you are reading books, you are going for seminars, you feel you are making efforts, you are trying in order to become better in life. But can I also let you realize that if all those things you are doing them as a matter of freestyle, it will amount to little or nothing eventually. It's just like somebody that is admitted to the university and you decide to just maybe while I was in school, I did chemistry. And like I shared with you sometimes back, that in my undergrad, there were days I attended political science class. Nobody was going to grade me for being in that class. The only reason why I was going post 204 that year, I'm talking about 2013 or 2012, as the case may be, it was because the vice chancellor of the university, Professor Mimiko, Femi Mimiko, was the one taking that class. I don't know, it was not his cause. It was not supposed to be his cause as the major leader of the campus. But something happened that I don't need to go into now. Then he took it upon himself that he was going to be taking that class within that semester. I was in sciences. He that political science should be in Akuma, they were in social and management science. So I was leaving my class, especially they were taking that class at a point that I had to be waiting to enter another class. So it was usually a waiting period. Others would go to library. Then I would sit at the back of the class, just enjoying the conversation of the man. But you see, everything I learned joining that class, number one, I could discuss about it outside as a discussant. I could talk about those things. But if I were to sit for the exams, those guys were going to sit for, I was going to fail it because I was learning it or the course on the mode of freestyle. And that's exactly the posture most people are taking on heads. They don't hold on to anything as if I miss this thing, I may miss it in life. So they just believe that, you know, it's just one of those things that I'm doing. So let me get back to the story I was sharing. So the guy started taking me through uh, concerted training this time around. That if this is exactly what you want to achieve, you don't just get to the gym to be doing what you like. You have to do this today, you have to do that tomorrow. Now, it was on video. I was the one doing the physical thing right here. So one of the days, it was going. We were always having sessions on Saturday. Then during the week, I will go back to repeat what we did on Saturday. So one of the days I got to the gym. Now nobody was on video supervising me. So I got there. He told me to. I don't need to tell you the names of those things. You don't need that too. So there was this balance I was supposed to lift for certain number of times. While my coach was on ground, he told me to put 10 kg at this side, 10 kg at the other side. That would be 20. That the bar itself was around 15 kg or something, and that's already 35 kg. And I said, no, 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 no. That I've been alive for a while. Why should I be lifting 10 kg? Look at my ignorance. No, he said, let's start from there. If you do this, you'll be able to enter the next phase. Can you guys hear me, please? And of course, those who are joining us, try to like this video. I make that request every time I can. So now I did 10-10 with the bar itself, 15, making 35 in his presence. I lifted that several times and he was impressed. He was clapping for me. So the day I now went alone, I got to that place and I met a gentleman. You know what this guy was lifting? This guy was lifting 45 kg on each side. So 45 air, 45 air, that would be 90. 90 kg, guys, plus the bar itself. And I felt, really? How could a gentleman be lifting something of almost 90 kg? And I will come to this place and just be lifting 35 altogether. And that's 10-10 on each side. Plus, you get my analysis. So I increased that. I put 15 air, 15 air. Then everything I was to take were 50 or 45. So I began to lift it. To cut the long story short, I enjoyed it. I felt good, except that when I went the last time, I began to feel that my ankle has been strained. Now, there was no dislocation, even as we are doing this broadcast now. Now, and what I'm telling you is more than a week, is about 2 weeks now. This this wrist has not recovered. Meanwhile, what almost broke my hand was too light for someone who was not older than me. What exactly is the difference? Practice. Practice. Again, I repeat, practice. That guy apparently started lifting weights, you know, long time ago, and from one level to another, from one level to another. So every level he attained became normal for him. Because that level has been normal to him, and I was only observing him, I felt that level should be normal for anybody who is serious. And this is the way a lot of us also look at successful people. People who have built, structures, organizations, who have made a lot of things to work. And when they speak with a lot of ease and you feel this thing is not difficult. Look at the if I can just talk the way this guy is talking, I should be able to gather this number of persons. Except that that thing that has become normal to the person, if you have not been trained with something lesser than that before, you even if they give you the same material supply to that person who has normalized that, you are going to fail. So, how is this connected to what I want to talk to you about? So, the distance, the gap between a starter and a champion is actually consistency of training and practice. Consistency of training and practice. That's the gap. That's the difference. Somebody has done something time and again, and he has become one with that thing. Meanwhile, the duration of time he has invested into that craft with best intention, nobody can pray for you to manifest such level of dexterity, all because you are passionate. You need to pay your own price. But that gap, we are talking about that practice and consistent training we are referring to here. The major opposition to it is weariness. The major opposition is that people start a lot of good stuff, except that after a while, they become weary. They become weary. Maybe a typical example, let me raise what I'm very certain will have happened to one or two persons listening right now. Why 2025 was starting out, especially for guys on my closer platform, some of them wrote me, "Oh, sir, in 2025, I will be reading 2 books every week, every month." Then that at the end of 2025, I must have read like 25 books on the average. That was what many of them planned to do. And for you to know how serious they were with that plan, they got those books. And some people sent picture. I got this book. I got the PDF version. I said, no, get paper version. Some of them got it. But as we speak now, all of them knew that if they were given to reading, if they were giving themselves to study, number one, their means of expression would change. We don't read to teach, we don't read to speak. That doesn't mean if you want to speak, you shouldn't prepare. But first, we study, we give ourselves to learning to become. So that through becoming, out of what we have become, we can dispense. They know that they are becoming, a part of it is premised on their ability to be studious. They knew it. And they knew that if they were given to study a lot of time, their life can change. Rescripting, that's what we are talking about. They knew what to do. But after a while, somebody read 2 books and it got discouraged. That's what we call weariness in plain term, where you don't have that enthusiasm to continue. You don't have that willingness to move forward. You don't have that interest to say, it doesn't matter how I feel, I'm going to push this thing forward today. So after I strained my hands um throughout that week, I was supposed to go for a certain number of days. I didn't go again. And I said to myself, I'm not into this to go for any championship. I just wanted to be okay. I sit a lot. I drive. When I leave driving, I get to the lab. If I'm not standing to do an experiment, I'm sitting on mass spec. If I'm not sitting on mass spec, I'm sitting studying. If I'm speaking to people, I'm seated. So I felt the sedentary was too much. That was the reason why I needed that. And I need to prepare myself for longevity. If Christ comes tomorrow, I have nothing to lose, people of God. But if it's going to stay longer to come, oh, every day must count for me and count in my word that I'm alive. Are you saying that? So I'm preparing myself for longevity. But after that thing happened to me, I just felt, oh boy, I'm not sure I want to go this time around. So I got a message from him. I didn't reply, you know. And when I replied, I said, actually, the week has been busy. Meanwhile, I didn't want to tell him how I was feeling. He said, the week has been busy. We'll continue our session when you are ready. But the one I was doing alone, I'm not sure I wanted to do that week. To cut the long story short, the other gentleman I saw, A lot of times when I get to that place, it was not under any supervision. And the guy would do that. Sometimes we'll meet him there and still leave him there. So, weariness in itself is something that you either defeat or it defeats you time and again. You either what? You either defeat weariness or it will defeat you time and again. And when you are defeated repeatedly, your whole life, the summary of it will be a life of defeat. And no wonder the Bible speaking in Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9, Apostle Paul was talking to that church. He said, let us not be weary in doing what is good. Let us. When you see the word let on the page of the scripture, that means the responsibility there is not God's responsibility. It is your duty. When you see stuff like let your light shine, no, that is not the work of God for you to shine. It is your responsibility to align with God, learn what He will have you learn, master what He will have you master, and deploy all those things when He leads you to deploy them. So, shining is your responsibility, not God's responsibility. The same thing, dealing with weariness is your duty, not the duty of God. So a lot of what we need for our lives to become better, to fulfill destiny, they won't come pleasurable. And naturally we love pleasure. And when something is no longer pleasurable, we become weary about them. We become very weary. Some of you, as I'm speaking now, you can remember a lot of things you started that you feel you did not complete. Somebody said he was going to write so number of books before he clocked certain age. He has exceeded that age by about 4 years now. We are still waiting on the manuscript. Are you saying that? We are still waiting on the manuscript. That this man, you promised you were going to do it. And all of us, we knew he had the capacity to do what he promised he was going to do. But why has he not been able to do it? Weariness does not always come in a way we can feel. Sometimes it is this weariness that leads people to procrastinate. You are not just motivated. How long do you think you will need to be motivated for you to do what is right? How long? How long? All those things that we started talking for the past almost 2 months now, I can bet you that there may be certain person now who has not missed any of those sessions, except that he or she has not also put to practice any of the things we are discussing about. So what is going on? I'm entertaining you. Even though what I'm sharing is powerful enough to cause transformation, you can never be transformed because you are not giving yourself, you are not applying yourself, you are not applying what you are learning in order to become a better version of yourself. Weariness, 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 weariness. It was, I think it was Bishop David Oyedepo that said that discipline is what makes few to be formidable. What do I want you to take home tonight? If you will not learn anything, it is that you will determine in your heart that going forward, when I define things I need to do, I will not do them only when I feel like doing them. I will do them in season and out of season. That is when I'm willing and when I'm unwilling. If if everybody, you see, can just overcome weariness with ease, I I can tell you for free, virtually everybody in the world will be successful. In a way, people will still be more successful than one another, no doubt. Capacity differ, opportunities differ, and all of that. But I'm saying, at least everyone will know that I'm delivering result that is commensurate to what I've invested. So if you are able to master this thing I'm talking about, a lot of people who are more skillful than you will leave them behind by just applying yourself more than they are applying themselves. For instance, somebody that knows he's supposed to be a singer and he has made efforts to join, you know, the choir in his local church. Now, this is somebody who believes that his voice should be heard all over the world. Will save pictures of, you know, the names, not just African musicians. In Nigeria, people know of Dunsin Oyekon, that is a worship minister. Um, those who sing Afrobeat, at least all of you know Davido. Are you saying that? You know Ashake. You know all those guys. You can continue to mention their names. But what a lot of people don't know is that if each of those successful guys copy their workload and hand it over to an upcoming artist, that upcoming artist will shrink. It's likely going to collapse. So, how do you now overcome this? Because this is something that whispers to all of us, except that not all of us are victims of the same. So, what do? You set out specific time to do certain things. You see somebody that says, I want to read 15 books. I want to make $1 million. I want to. What are the things? Can you put in the comment box some of the things some of you have in mind, things you can share with people? And I'd like you to participate, please. The things on your mind that you just know that if I can be doing this, I know things will get better. If I can give myself to this, I should be able to become more proficient. Can you bring that up in the comment box in a moment? So, back to what I was talking about. You need to do what? Attach specific time to each task. Attach specific time to each task. How do I mean? There is nothing like, I will go to the gym on Tuesday. You will not go. Because Tuesday, we have morning, afternoon, evening. You are not precise about the time you intend to achieve that. You are not precise. So, what should you do? You have to determine, I will go to the gym first thing in the morning or at 7 p.m. in the evening, depending on your schedule. So, what that means is when you wake up in the morning and you've entered into your day without going to the gym, it's not going to be the next day you will know you have failed. You are aware right in the morning that, as touching my fitness plan, today I have failed. And my emphasis is not to make you feel you failed, but that you can be, set on course on the basis of predetermined schedule. That is how to build a life of efficiency. So, and somebody is wondering, this guy is talking about weariness and he's talking about scheduling. When you start it, you will understand what I'm talking about. So, what happens next? You have to do this in the morning, then put it on your phone. I when certain alarm sounds, I know what that alarm is talking about. The people listening around me, they don't need to know what that is about. Then when the alarm wakes you, you have to be awake at least to do something for the after your devotion. You want to go to the gym. So that becomes the first assignment. Number two, if you don't have routine schedules, even if you're a disciplined person, your disciplinary act will not be honest. It will be a scattered discipline because it will be a disorganized discipline. So in the morning, you've prayed. Now I'm going out. When you return back from there, as a matter of fact, the moment you start giving yourself to these practices that I'm talking about, it won't be immediately you begin to see the result, but the joy of your commitment will be your immediate reward. It's like somebody that says, I want to build an effectual prayer life. And they say, what time do you pray? Is that I pray anyhow? Okay. Those who are well trained, they know that you are deceiving yourself. Because if you don't have a prayer time, it's not that you are not willing to pray. It's not that you don't desire to pray, except that a lot of things will come up, legitimate stuff at that, and you will give yourself to those things at the expense of the prayer you intended to pray. But when you have a specific time for something, number one, you will not accept responsibility you did not plan for that time. So, and some of you who are disciplined but not properly scheduled, you are only effective when you are being given responsibility by other people. Those things you plan out to do by yourself, you can't do them. And the reason is because your willpower is weak. Your willpower is weak. Let me take some of the things people are writing there. I like to read at least 2 chapters of, I don't know, 2 chapters of what is that? Maybe of books of the scripture, but you want to read 2 chapters per day. Good. Somebody says, I want to take my current course from the hour of 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Amazing. 9 a.m. to 12 noon. That person is becoming specific now. Molayo is saying to constantly engage the spiritual before I go for my daily engagement. As beautiful as that is, it is still ambiguous. To constantly engage. If you want to constantly engage, what time does your day start? Somebody was speaking to me, he said, anytime a man wakes up, that's when his day starts. I said, that's your own day anyway. But the day that regulates everybody across the nations of the earth has started. Either you are aware, either you are awake or not, that day has started for everybody. Somebody saying, I don't want to accept responsibility you did not factor in your time. Okay. So that's the first thing. Because if you don't know how to intellectually program your life, even spiritually, you'll be weak. You will be weak. When you read the scripture, say, and Christ, before the dawn of the day, he will have departed from among the disciples and moved to a yonder place to pray. It was an habitual something. Let us not be weary in well doing. Let us not be weary. Because that what we want to weary you out will come is a constant. But you are the one that must put structure to overcome it. So, number one, schedule. Number two, when you know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing and you are not able to do it, the next thing is find a partner for accountability. I know some of you have heard this countless number of times, but are you doing them? And you cannot say, you know, you want to be accountable and you are accountable to somebody whose voice is not strong in your life. That's not accountability. That is, just deceiving yourself and pretending as if you don't know what's going on, which a lot of us like to do. Just pretend all around. So you put a specific schedule to it. Then certain thing or person must be your check and balance. You need to have that. So if I don't want to do that thing I was talking about, then when I see the call of the gentleman, I know that, oh yeah, I have a report to give. And that's for those who have not mastered how to be disciplined, because you cannot live your entire life on the basis of other person's supervision. You'll be suboptimal like that. But this is something that I know always work for those who are committed to it. Some of my guys, I have a platform where I don't think I've ever shared the link anywhere. And anybody that says, I like to pray this and this, and I just say, join the platform. I don't come there to pray. I have other people I pray with, but I've never gone there to lead them to pray. But I just, what are they doing? I know some of them on the platform are here. You just indicate the time you've clocked in and the time you've clocked out. And when I realize you don't put anything there for days, I just call. I learned that from my father in the Lord. So I just reach out for those I even think I have something to do with anyway, because you can join the platform and I will never ask you any question in my life. Are you seeing that? So I say, hey, young man, you stop praying. Ha, he said, yes, it's true. I said, no, I know now. I didn't see it in the spirit. I saw it where your record is saying you have not been doing that. And today, oh my God, I see the report of one recently, and I saw the report one of them sent, and I was like, really? I hope you are not. I didn't ask him, but I was trying to. I hope you are not inflating the hours, because the hours this guy was spending praying. Oh my goodness! And I began to tell him, I said, listen, also do not take pleasure in the hours alone. Begin to take pleasure in what prayer does to a man, and let your life be a manifestation of a praying person, so that it won't be your words that will tell people I'm actually praying, but your life is saying, don't believe him. Accountability. 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 Is somebody getting what I'm saying tonight? We all need to do this, because if you don't, you will put your vision, you will put your life vision in serious danger. In Hebrews 10:36, the Bible says you need endurance, so that having done all, you will be able to obtain the promise. Endurance. Number 3, what do you need to do? You need to encourage yourself. Listen, encourage yourself in this sense means every time you see that you have discouragement to do what you know will be of benefit to you, then say to yourself, I need to do this now so that I can be at least ahead. Oh, yeah. You'll be ahead of your former self. You are not competing with anybody, but you are competing to become a better version of yourself. And on the basis of that, say, I really need to be ahead. Because what is befalling you is facing virtual. There is no temptation that has come upon you that is not common, to men. So the way you feel you are not naturally motivated, other people are not naturally motivated. They encourage themselves because they have seen the end of what the endeavor could produce. Are you seeing that? So you deliberately plan that at the moment I'm able to push this thing forward, I wouldn't be where I used to be before. I wouldn't be where I used to be before. Because one of the things that make people to grow weary is that they desired the result of those who have spent more time than them. They want to see that result within the twinkling of an eye. Just like it happened to me, maybe that would be the central example I'll be using to explain other points. I saw a gentleman lifting almost 90 kg, and I said, no, now, I can't have this broad chest and this guy is carrying this and I will be carrying something like that. But in his training, he has trained his muscles to be able to withstand that through diligence, repetition, consistency, which I have not done. Let me tell you something. Everything you have seen in a vision, maybe some of you have seen yourself as maybe let's say you are a preacher, and in the vision, God is you can you have found yourself ministering to people in a stadium. You see, the only proof that that thing is in view is that at some point in your life, you are being introduced to that activity, but at a lesser level. So, what I'm saying is, everything you have found that are glamorous spiritually, if you are not yet enlisted to a miniature demonstration of that, you are not part of the candidate for that thing. It does not matter who is praying for you. It does not matter who showed you the vision. It doesn't even matter those who have agreed with you in prayers about it. It will never happen. How do I mean? Listen, if somebody has seen him or herself preaching to people in a stadium, and you are not preaching in a campus fellowship, you are not leading any department in your church, the question is this: who will make the announcements and put your name on it, and people will gather in a stadium? Now, just tell me now. Have you heard ever in the history of humanity that somebody started his own ministration from a stadium? So what you are saying speaks of the glory ahead. The proof that it will ever come to pass in your lifetime is that at some point you are now in line, in line, in line, in line, in line, in line, in line. Somebody say in line, in line. So I make bold to ask you tonight, are you in line with the vision you've caught for your life? Are you in line? Are you in line? Somebody will say, I just know that I'm going to build a multinational business. Really? Really? So what local business are you contributing to now? Not necessarily that you are building, but what local business are you contributing to? Then you think, even if you have the idea, will you be able to supply the technical know-how to manifest at the level of multinational? So when people are not in line, they begin to move, then hope begins to diminish. And it now looks like God has lied for them. No, 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 not at all. So one of the ways to make sure weariness does not overcome your life is to be in line. In line. In line. Oh, you surround yourself with what will continuously bring you to remembrance of the commitment you have made. In line. Number 5, you pray. You pray. You pray. Prayer in itself, we will get there, is a whole concept and a major lifeline that when it dies, a lot of things begin to go wrong in the lives of a man. That's fundamental. But a lot of times people have good prayer, quote and unquote, prayer moments, but they don't have robust prayer experience. What does that mean? Part of the things you should deal with in the place of prayer is that God will help you not to become weary. Because not all weariness are natural. Oh, yes. Not all weariness are natural. Not all weariness are natural. Some of you, what is pressing you? I came across a video online a couple of weeks ago or months. I, see, this is the first time I'm using this kind of examples. Those of you who know me, I don't use this kind of examples. And the reason why I don't use it is because those kind of, um, you know, I've not even cited the example. So let me cite it first. But this one, I so much can relate with it. The man was a warlock that eventually got born again. And he was revealing some of the secrets they were using in the realm of darkness to manipulate a lot of believers. And he said, if a man or a Christian, so to speak, either a man, a woman, old or young, it doesn't matter. Anybody, when you start walking with God, and they realize that the way this guy is going, even if he's not aware, but if he continues like this, it will be too dangerous for our kingdom. He said one of the things they do is to create spiritual occasions to prolong his prayers from coming to pass. Even though God is going to do that thing, we come in between the time of his prayer and the time of his fulfillment so that he or she can give up before that time. Is that whenever they are able to program weariness to become consistent in the life of a believer, he is not even going to be fervent in the spirit, not to talk of being a terror anymore to the kingdom of darkness. They will just keep that person busy. And from that position of being busy, that person becomes closer to depression. Why am I sharing this with you? Some of the things that you feel are natural discouragement to you, they have high network of charged spiritual engagement backing them up. That with all these giftings you carry, you will never give enough diligence for them to even get to the point of mastery. And they know when you don't have mastery, the world cannot give you the attention. So this time around, you don't need to be killed. You just need to be distracted with something that bring discouragement. You may not even be discouraged, so to speak. Just that in the area that matters, you will not give in what is important. So the same energy you were supposed to use to advance your destiny, you you are not just you are not the guy that is sleeping too much. You are not committing immorality. You are not doing anything except that the best of you is not applied in the right direction. So that kind, even if you are doing accountability, even if you have schedules that you have attached activities to, when they breathe on you, because they have mastered you, they have comprehended you, what do you do about that? You ask for help from the God that cannot be helpless. Oh, glory to God. Ah, help me, Lord. Help me. Help me. Ah, help me. Help. Help. Lord, help me. That I wouldn't give up before the time. Help me. Do you know why? Even if you have been consistent over time and you have not laid hold on the substance of what you are doing, if you stop now, all your past effort put together will count for nothing. For nothing. For nothing. Ah, that I'm not going to engage in labor loss. I'm not going to give in to something that will not be profitable. You ask God for help. I remember this a senior man. Hopefully that man will not come. He's somebody who binge. I mean, he binges on things I do. So I hope he's not going to see this. And with due respect, if you get to see this anytime, sir, sincerely, you know I have tremendous respect for you. That man was, if I have more than one now, a lot of them that are coming to my mind. He was in part 4 in the university. Part 4. Now, some of my guys who were closer to me, because they might have known about this, and not those of you I met, is I'm saying my core friends. So this guy had an issue in part 2 in school. The disciplinary committee of the school met. They did not finalize their case. They allowed him to get to part 3. They allowed him to get to part 4. He wrote all the exams. He defended the project. After the project defense, they released his name among the people that graduated, and he came out with about close to 4 points out of 5 points or 3 points something. It was in 2-1, second class upper division. Then when they came very close to their mobilization period for NYSC, disciplinary committee now gave their decision, their judgment, and that he should be withdrawn from the university. What he did it in part 2. He spent 2 extra years. He waited at home for over 6 months for the result to be collated. That's the 3rd year. Then they now finalized that he was to be expelled. And right away, even though they have enlisted his name among their sets that finished, the name was expunged. And that was how he never had a bachelor's degree. Don't forget, he has spent 4 years, extra 1 year now at home, 5 years, before he gained another admission. Beloved, it took him about 2 other 3 years, and he went to Polytechnic. That was about 8 years when it comes to academic journey being swallowed. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? How? How do you explain that? And I'm too sure that the other school he went to, there was no way he would be able to give his best anymore. He would have been so discouraged. Is somebody getting what I'm saying tonight? And as I begin to, when you fly, whenever they're about to land, they give you another instruction to fasten your seatbelt while we prepare for landing. As I prepared tonight, this afternoon, depending on your location, and at any point you are seeing this broadcast, I want you to know, I've thought that if you listen to what I do, you see there's a scripture I quote a lot of times, even when I'm not preaching, like I'm not doing here. It's in Jeremiah chapter 10, where the Bible was saying that it is not the duty of a man to direct his ways. Don't fall for the new day bandwagon that suggests that you can do a lot without God. It's true. A lot can be done, not necessarily without God. Those who are defining those things, they are just dull. Okay, this is it. If you apply your intelligence and something works, to you, you think you have done that without God. Who gave you the intelligence? That you don't acknowledge him does not deny the fact that is the originator of what you are engaging. Then that you do that repeatedly and you are succeeding, even when you never acknowledge God. You never acknowledge God, rather. Who is preserving your life? Are you saying that? Then that you apply the principle and it delivers results. Who sustain seed time and harvest? The same God, yet you don't acknowledge it. So what I'm saying is, those who don't pray at all may be able to do a lot within the confine of human enablement, which still comes from God, and they will do fine. However, the weakest and the best among us, if the battle confronting you is oriented from the realm of the spirit, beloved, with all your skill, you will fall flat. So what do we do? Irrespective of where you live, irrespective of what you do, ensure you always stay connected to God. I'm not saying stay connected to religious activity, because religion in itself gives false hope. I overheard a man of God online and he shares, he's a pastor anyway. And I said, it's only a notable and successful pastor that can be sharing what that man is sharing, because it's true. He said, I know some of you will have seen it. He shared that on different platforms. In fact, the first time I heard it on television, on TVC. And I was saying religion is worse than the devil. I can't remember the rest, but I know he said religion is worse than the devil because one, it will give you a false hope, hope that is not in view, that things will get better, except that how it will get better, you are taught never to care for that. Are you saying that? So I'm not saying you should give yourself to religious activity, but sometimes people foolishly also, or unintelligently define what you lead them to God as mere religious activity. So, what is different between religious activity and what I'm trying to define? Every activity you do that you know brings you to creative awareness of God, not substituted awareness of Him. Now, I'm not going to explain that. It can take you 5 years away from today to understand what I mean by creative awareness of the presence of God and substituted awareness of His presence. And some people will never know the meaning in their lifetime. And again, it is what it is. It's not my responsibility that you can't, but I'm not going to explain that. Because what religion does is to give you substituted awareness of deity. And that's not what I'm talking about. So you pray. That is exactly where you now defeat why I attach the word the spirit of weariness, because now you are presenting spiritual, you know, you are engaging spiritual force, rather, you are engaging spiritual programming to deactivate the hold of that spirit. Because some of you, weariness has become a stronghold. You were always energetic, except in the area that matters. Some of you don't like to go to work. You don't like to go to school. You don't like to do your business as you should do it. Then the question is, what do you really like to do? So to you, you think you are not passionate in that area, except that you are not sincere with yourself, that you are not passionate for anything serious. You are not passionate over anything that is serious. How can it be the same you don't like to go to school, you don't like to study, you don't like to do business? You are shy to talk to people, you cannot sell, I can't do sales. Then you got an office job. Every Sunday evening you are sad. Before you talk about that job, ask yourself, is there anything you've ever done profitably in life that you liked? If there was not, your life is already greatly endangered. And that you don't like it, but you keep applying yourself where it matters, then even though your life is in danger, you are overcoming the danger. And that's me congratulating you. But to subscribe to autopilot, when I don't feel like I'm not going to do it, I cannot come and kill myself. That was the slogan of people who are regretting their old age today. They couldn't come and kill themselves. They couldn't come and kill themselves. Am I saying you should kill yourself? No. But kill what is killing you. Because there is something that can make your entire life not to be what I mean, that can make your life not to worth more than the life of a dead man. And everything like that, you have to keep them. And it takes serious focus to achieve that. And that's where I'm going to stop tonight. If you have any question, please indicate in the comment box that you have question, and I'm going to take that. And in the absence of none, I need to quickly call it a wrap now. Thank you everyone for coming. But if you have a question, just indicate first, then like I do it every time, I will know you have a question coming up. Oh, thank you, Lord. Okay, it appears tonight, or today is not, it's not the kind that people want to ask questions about, but that's fine. Again, try to like this video if you have not done that, and if it blesses you, you can share with other people. So next week we continue. Next week Sunday, I'm going to try as much as I can, 8 p.m. West African time, and of course tomorrow by 8 p.m. West African time too. Hopefully, I don't know if we are going to be using this platform, but I have something that I want to share, and it's still free. So I'm not putting any money on what I'm sharing, and they are not supposed to be free stuff. But God is faithful; He's taking care of me on many levels, and I'm grateful for that. So tomorrow, please, this is just an unpaid announcement. By tomorrow, Monday, 8 p.m. West African time, I'm going to be live. So try to schedule that. Yeah. What I want to share is not about rescripting. It's completely different entirely, but it's going to help you. Thank you. My question, permission to reach out on your DM for a more insightful dialogue. Okay, man, but not tonight, please. Please, pardon me. Actually, I still have a meeting somewhere tonight, not a speaking meeting, but I have to do something important with the people. And after that, I still have one other in-house stuff. Then I need to also speak with my wife. Some of you know I'm away from my wife. Are you saying that? You don't like that? If you don't like that and you are single, oh, come on, your journey will be far. Thank you, everyone. Do have a pleasant night rest. So, Molayo, yes, DM, no doubt, but please, you can drop it right now, but apparently not immediately will I be able to respond. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Shikwebi Aguaniru. Oh, goodness. It's been a long time. Good to hear from you. Everyone, I recognize, I salute you. You know, if you are not putting anything in the comment box, there's no way I will know you are there. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. Please have a great week ahead, and bye for now.